Thanks very much.
Thank you. Fantastic. What a great crowd. Thanks for coming out today. Welcome to the 14th Annual Highland Games right here in Ventura County. We are, well, mostly from this area. I guess we're all from this area, living a little bit spread out now. We are Celtic Spring. We are all one family, and we are going to share music and step dancing from Ireland, Scotland, and Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And we're going to continue with a melody you'll recognize here, and this one goes out as our prayer for peace here in our own country and peace throughout the world. Thanks so much.
All right, well, thank you very much. This is our 14th time at the 14th Annual Highland Games. We are right here in Ventura County, having a great time with you again today. We love having our clan get together for your clan gatherings here and sharing the tradition and keeping these things going, and it's always a special treat for us to come on down from the Highlands to visit you here on the coast and have a great time at the Seaside Highland Games. That delay on Sean's dancing, I think he had to secure his feet on more so they wouldn't fall off when he was doing those clicks. So he had to tie his feet onto the bottom of his legs. It's terrible when that happens.
What you just said reminded me of something Mom said a number of years ago, that she'd had a nightmare that when Sean was dancing and he did a click, that his leg flew off into the audience. Kind of nightmares that Celtic Spring Mom has, right?
So you're probably wondering what they were talking about while they're dancing around in that circle there. I caught little snippets. Was that a joke someone was telling, or I missed?
I think I missed it too, but made me laugh because everybody else was laughing.
Contagious laughing.
So a lot has happened during this last year. My husband Dusty and I had our first baby, little Michael, who is almost 6 months old. I believe I saw him sleeping. Yes, little
there
Michael.
he is, right there. All right.
Hi, little babe. And Deirdre and her husband Max had their second little boy and named him Declan. He and Michael are about 7 weeks apart, so we're super, super happy and so blessed. And then Patrick, who's not here today, who's fighting fires, is expecting his second, and we'll wait to know if it's a boy or girl.
He and his wife are expecting their second.
That's right.
Just to be clear. Actually, it really is funny coming here today, coming full circle, because 14 years ago, our youngest was 2, which means we had all the baby stuff in tow.
Wow.
And I came in today, and I came in the first round with my instrument case, and, oh, yeah, I'm in the band, I'm a musician, that's cool. And the second shift, I've got all this baby gear under my arm, bright blue strollers and all that kind of stuff. And
Being a grandpa.
then I thought, wow, what a special treat to be able to have this come full circle and have the next generation witnessing what these guys witnessed growing up, which was all this great music and dance and tradition happening, and that's what we're here about. So it was kind of a neat 2 thoughts about that reality.
All right, well, next have the guys, Sean and Aiden, play some tunes for you all. I think the set will close with one of Sean's original tunes. So here we go.
And Joseph Padula, if you want to grab a fiddle from the stage and join us on this last set, you are more than welcome to. We'll take that as an
Joseph, that wasn't an invitation.
Subtle way of saying, get up here right now.
All right.
Padula from Three for Joy. Woo! Yeah, Sean's tune called 20 Years. Thank you, Joseph. Woo!
Yeah, Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
We're so lucky to have Sean in this community. All these kids, when we were raising our kids, we had to go far and wide to try and find really good fiddle teachers and go to Cape Breton and all over. Now we have all these kids living in Ojai, kind of Ventura County, teaching fiddle, teaching Irish and Cape Breton step dancing, and really passing on the tradition. And that was the little fellow playing was Joseph Padula, who's our kid's cousin, and he's in Three for Joy. So that's an amazing band to keep watching. They're getting better and better. And Sean's amazing. So that was his tune.
Yeah. little more dancing here. We're testing their oxygen deprivation. So in gathering our clan this weekend, we had people come in by planes, trains, and automobiles, literally. And the farthest traveler was Maura, who is now in college, and she loves The Hobbit and always wanted to go to school in the Shire. So her dream has been fulfilled. She's in school at Thomas More College in New Hampshire. And she's part of a folk music guild and having fun. Do they brew ale and things there, Maura? A traditional, oh, she'll be 21 in January. All right, kombucha, training alcohol, all right.
I think we'll play a tune that Elizabeth wrote. It's a gorgeous jig, and we'll start in just a second. And if you're lucky, you might see some dancing by Celtic offspring on the set, so keep your eyes open.
Second generation.
You know, apparently there's a bit of a saying for mandolin players, and the saying goes like this: mandolin players spend half their life tuning and the other half of their life playing out of tune, and I can testify to that right now. But don't even get me started on viola jokes. We'll be here all afternoon.
Thanks a whole lot. We're going to play some Cape Breton tunes now. Pick up the speed here. And from one of our favorite places in the world, a little island on the east coast of Nova Scotia. So above Maine, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and the far east part is Cape Breton. Just an amazing little haven of step dancing and Celtic music, fiddlers, pianists. And we've been there a few times and I just love the music and love the dancing. Love the people.
And Elizabeth's being either forgetful or humble, but that was a tune that she wrote that we just played there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thank you.
Give it up for Siobhan Becker. That's Deirdre's youngest daughter. put your hands together for Celtic offspring, Siobhan Becker, Michael DeKeen, and Declan Becker.
Give it up for Siobhan Becker, Deirdre's daughter there. Yeah, Siobhan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I have to add an observation. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but when Siobhan came out barefoot and was dancing next to her mother wearing hard shoes with steel bottoms, I thought, oh, that's a beautiful example of childhood trust and security and maternal skill. Nothing bad happened. And I'm not one to worry. I let my wife do most of the worrying in our family, and I was a little worried about that, but all for naught.
So I think we have just one last set for you today, and before we finish up, we'd just like to thank you all so much for coming out to the 14th annual Seaside Highland Games. Let's give it up for John, Nellie, Roger, all the folks who worked so hard to put this amazing festival together year after year. So thanks to all of you.
And for all of you for coming out, because without you, this wouldn't be here. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
And a special repeat acknowledgement to Roger. Roger, how many years? 6 years? 7, 8? 28? Oh, okay. So a long time, and Roger does an awesome job. I don't know an event we've been at where we can walk on the stage and know that we're within 5% of our highly picky needs. Roger's there. So thank you, Roger.
Yeah, thank you. And like was said earlier, we are Celtic Spring, one family, and you can see that there's quite the slew of nieces and nephews or grandchildren being raised in the wings. So keep your eyes open next year and future years for the next generation, who I'm sure will be forcing us off the stage sooner than later. So do come back for the 15th annual Seaside Highland Games. And once again, thank you so much for making this weekend totally amazing. You probably know this, but our family doesn't really play together too often just because, as you can see, there are many other things happening in all of our lives. And it's just a total pleasure and a joy to be able to come together. This is sort of like our once a year musical reunion. We do see each other obviously fairly often, but we don't get the chance to play out too often. So thanks again for making this weekend so special for all of us, and definitely hope to see you all next year. And I think we'll have some CDs and t-shirts on the side. Do stay in touch with us on Facebook, and thank you so very much. God bless you all. We'll see ya. And this is your last chance to get your hands together out here. Come on, everybody. Give it up for Maura, everybody. Woo!
Keep that clapping coming. Woo! For Aiden, everybody. Woo!
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much once again. We are Celtic Spring. Thanks for coming to the 14th annual Seaside Highland Games. We'll see you all next year.